Guys, welcome to the Mind Unleashed, episode 24. How are you? How have you been? As we always do, and get quick shout-outs to my supporters and shout-outs to them. So the first one's going to be Lifty ride-sharing app. Use our code TMUP to get $5 off your first ride with Lyft. It's for one time only. Also, if you're looking to become a driver, type in that code. Also, you get a $500 bonus when you do sign up to become a driver with Lyft. Also, if you're looking to do some drone shooting or wedding photography, please check out Dine Art Studios. Use our code OMI. Daniel Weisberg will hook you up with a nice package. Very budget friendly, stuff like that. Very good at what he does. Getting a little booked up for some residential shooting, stuff like that. Also, if you are getting married, whether it be in the States or going overseas or what have you, Jamaica, Hawaii, what have you, check out Weiss Productions. Weiss Productions is a locally owned business in DeLand, Florida here. Weiss does package deals starting at, I believe, $199. Really good deals. Use our code OMI. You'll get 5% off when you book your next project with him. Also, if you're looking to get trademarked, copyrighted, things like that, check out Strawman Law, my attorney. So I'm giving him a quick shout out. Very good, very budget friendly. He works really well. Very decent. He'll listen to what you have to say. He does consultations, stuff like that. Links will be down in the description. Check him out. Sorry, I have an itch. It's not me being like a sign. I have an itch in my ear. And if you folks do hear a weird sound in the back, it is the washer. So, just alrighty, guys, as we always do, welcome to episode 24. This one I've been wanting to do for a while. I just got done doing a lot of things, but this one is going to be on podcasting. My experiences with it, what I've been doing with it, why I do it, stuff like that. What I've learned over the past week, what's been going on with it. So pretty much, I started the podcast Mind Unleashed back in April, my first one, and I wanted to kind of talk about Squarespace and some of the web hosting stuff, and why I kind of brought it over to where I have it now, Libsyn, and I'll walk you guys through all that, and hopefully we can nerd out a little bit about that. If anybody wants to try to get into podcasting, I just want to give a couple tips and tricks of what I ran into the last week or so. Pardon me. It's been quite crazy with me editing and stuff like that by myself, because I do also the audio version, which some of you may be watching on YouTube. That's where my videos plan to go. And I want to talk about some copyright stuff and kind of teach you guys what I've learned, so you don't go down the same path, and it kind of gives you guys the best guide possible. Alright. So in April, I started using Squarespace. We used to have GoDaddy. I said, kind of fuck that, and I kind of want a site where I can control. I used to code a lot, but now I really don't. I've kind of lost my way in coding, so I don't know a lot of what I need to know. So I had to depend on friends, Michael Pernesco, to kind of guide me through what I'm doing. Is it a bad thing to have a website that's kind of drag and drop? No, it's not. It takes a lot of the guesswork out of what you're doing, and they guide you through, and there's a lot of tutorials on YouTube and on the site in general on how to do some of the things. So we ended up moving a lot of stuff over to Squarespace, and I haven't regretted it yet. It looks a lot better. Michael did, the background layer on our website. Michael has built my logo. We had one previous, that looked cool, but it wasn't really what OpenMind was and it is. So anyway, fast forward, now that the website's running, 3D printing services are on there, all that kind of good stuff. We're getting our branding, naming out there, and stuff like that. And then I had to go get trademarked because someone was using our name, and I had to find an attorney online, and luckily he was the third attorney I had to go find, and he was amazing. So I'm glad we were able to get everything taken care of, and he worked with us really well. That's why I recommend Jeffrey Strawman. You guys really do need an attorney to trademark, and you're like, I don't know what's this going to cost me. This guy charges a flat rate, and he's amazing, and he's based out of Colorado, originally from Orlando, so it was really amazing. Amazing stuff. Anyway, so we get that all said and done, and I started doing, this is way before I started the podcasting, so the podcasting and stuff started taking off through iTunes, Google Play, stuff like that, and I said, alright, let me do some research on how to do this, because I've never done it before. I've been wanting to do this, but wanting to kind of get my mouth out there and kind of talk. So I went on YouTube, obviously, and checked out, so what's the best platform for podcasting, stuff like that. And I listen to a lot of podcasts myself, so I listened to quite a few. Hollywood on Babylon, Batman on Batman, Bizarre States, Nerdist, just the Bill Burrs, just some I listen to. So I started looking at how they do it, and I'm like, it's gotta be fucking fucking crazy to get into podcasting. And surprisingly, it's not. It's you just getting a camera and having the voice and comfortability of just talking. That's all a fucking podcast is. So anyway, I do episode 1, and I just have the GoPro. I didn't have the recorder here. It's doing the audio version. It's got a special mic system and stuff like that, and it's hooked it to my chest so you guys can get a better sounding audio. So I just did it with the GoPro Hero 4, and then I did a MP3 conversion. So the first episode, if you guys ever did listen to it, does sound really weird because it's being converted from a conversion site. Anyway, go on to episode 2. Now I have the recorder, stuff like that. It was with Jennifer Recitar, the author of Golden Spinner. Started uploading. Everything was going pretty well. I said, alright, let me see if I can get on iTunes. And iTunes wasn't actually hard to do. It was just making sure your files were correct sizing. So once you're done with that, you get everything up there and you start punching in all the stuff. The thing I hate about Squarespace is if you're going to do podcasts on Squarespace, not that it's a bad thing at all. I recommend it if you're going to do it. Remember to write out your synopsis on your episode and your timing of episode. Because each thing needs to go in its own little place for iTunes. So you have to write, how long was the episode? What's your synopsis? What's your subtitle? If you're going to add anything, then you have to write for Squarespace. Then it goes into your blog, and then your RSS feed and stuff like that. Now that's where I got kind of confused, as I finally got all the way up to episode 23 or 22 when I started looking for web hosting, because we previously, I think it was episode 13 I did, and I wanted to get it on TuneIn. Now I put it up for TuneIn, and I said, hey guys, I have an RSS feed from Squarespace. That was my web hosting, and I said, I'm gonna go for Squarespace. And I originally sent the paperwork over to Michael. Said, hey man, they're not accepting my RSS feed. Because I haven't coded in a long time, guys. So I said, Mike, any ideas of what's going on? And he goes, let's check it out. And he checked it out to the it's called Feed Validator. So if any of you are trying to get your stuff correct, Feed Validator, you check that, and it will show you what's wrong in the code. What line of code is not kosher to the system. So it's like, hey, you're not using an MP3 file, or you're not using this. TuneIn declined me twice. They said, hey man, something's just not right for our network. So you fix it and then reapply again. We should be able to accept you. Now, that was kind of a letdown, but I was like, fuck it, I'm already on Google Play. And once you guys have your iTunes and stuff filled out, Google Play just is a plug and click. You just send them the RSS feed from your web hosting or your pod hosting, your podcast hosting. And I'm going to go into that in just a little bit of who I went to. Like I said, Lipson's who I'm going with now, and I'll tell you for obvious reasons. But anyway, it's just kind of point and click. I just gave them my RSS feed for my web hosting, which was Squarespace. It's Open Industries, and it was I can't give you the whole RSS, but it was OpenMindIndustries.com. That was my RSS. I'd have my RSS, and then I would put it over, and it took it immediately. It was like, hey, you're good to go. Here's all your new episodes, and we should accept you. And it took me in a matter of a day. They're like, hey, well, you're good. Your stuff's good. Your episode should be loading up. Everything works fine. I'm like, ooh, that's fucking awesome. Great. So fast forward, started doing more episodes, started editing on YouTube, which is a big pain in the ass because you're doing the audio and video and stuff like that. You have to take a lot of time out of your day. Like, this is going to take me probably about a day to do because I have to convert the video from GoPro software into, for YouTube and stuff like that, and edit it and get it cleaned. And the audio doesn't take long. Audio, guys, if you're just doing audio alone, can take you about 5 minutes for photo conversion, and you can get it up online. Writing your synopsis up for the week, stuff like that should take less. But that's all up to you and how you want to make your podcast sound and stuff like that. I'm not looking for a full production. I'm just looking to get some fun facts and tips on open mind stuff. So anyway, so once that all said and done, I was about episode 23, episode 22, and then I was like, you know what? I really want to get back on TuneIn. It became closer to now that we're getting officially trademarked, and I'm super excited about that, to be actual registered fucking trademark, and to get into the business, and talking with John and some friends, like, you really need to kind of expand your syndication. So I was like, it's time, and my friends were like, you seem to really be enjoying podcasting. Podcasting is fucking fun. It's fun to come up with a story for the week for you guys to listen to. So if this helps any of you, just, let me know. But I hope it does. So anyway, I decide, shit, I'm already on episode 22. I didn't even know I was going to make it this far. Let's try for TuneIn one more time. Okay, so I put everything in. I'm getting nervous now. Now, how I became to that is I said, you know what? I said, GoDaddy's kind of, or not GoDaddy, Squarespace is kind of getting a little bit too small for me now. I'm putting a lot of episodes up now. It takes a lot for me to convert because I was using, if you're using an MP3 file, it's a lot bigger, the compression file, stuff like that. So I started pushing my episodes around episode, I want to say 16 or 17, around to MP4s because my files are too big. Now, being a little bit of an idiot to this, okay, this is where I'm going to kind of give you guys some fun facts. I should have known to put it in. I use Audacity for my audio to edit and stuff like that. It's super simple to use. I don't use Apple software, unfortunately, because I can't afford a MacBook Pro or something like that. It's super, super expensive. But nevertheless, I mean, I use Audacity. It's really good. I really recommend you guys donating $1 to their company, their donation, because they really made a great software for everybody. It's completely free. You guys can use it. Anybody can use it. It helps you edit and stuff like that. And unfortunately, you have to download some expansions for the MP3 stuff. So I didn't know much about that. Like I said, I haven't edited video in a long effing time. So anyway, I was doing a lot of MP4s. So I said, you know what? I want to look for a web host, or I want to look for a podcast host. Now I went on YouTube. I laid in bed probably about a week ago, and I was like, you know what? I'm growing a little bigger. I want to get more into syndication, and I want to get on TuneIn now because I want to listen. I want people to be able to listen to it anywhere for free and stuff like that. And my goal was to really get on TuneIn, and so I was like, you know what? I really want to get on TuneIn. How much would it be to find a podcast host? Now, a friend of mine, Trent Ward, who I've spoken about many times, he does makeup effects for Halloween Horror Nights, stuff like that. And Grinchmas now, he's working on Grinchmas, making all the noses and getting them all on the people's faces and stuff like that. They can do the Grinchmas thing in here for Christmas in Universal Orlando. He said, hey man, before I started podcasting, he's like, just be very careful, man. It can get very expensive, which he's not joking. To find a good service that can host your podcast and archive them for you, it can be very expensive depending on how many you're doing. Be aware, So what I looked up, and I went on YouTube, so I typed in podcast hosting, free. Obviously, I always type in free. What are the top 10 services? So one guy recommended podcast.com, which I will recommend to you guys if you want to use this. Podcast.com doesn't charge a damn thing. They do charge if you get too many downloads on an episode and it's killing their bandwidth, then they will charge you. You'll have to pay them some money for the extra bandwidth that you're using. So to upload your stuff and keep it there is completely free. They are a legit company. They're a legit company. They have a lot of people's podcasts on there. I don't know how they got them, and it says, but the article says if it's your podcast, claim it. Claim this as your podcast. So I'm not sure how they're getting the podcast, but they are. You can email them. I don't know how good the support is. I just tried it out I was like, you know what? I don't want to spend money. I want to be cheapo depot. But if you're trying to protect your brand, I would probably recommend going to a real paid service, which I've done. I'm trying to protect my brand. I don't want it to be out there in the open and not protected. So under my metadata, I put all the copyright and stuff like that when I did it. But I'm just telling you guys, if you're trying to get your podcast out there and give it a shot, maybe you might want to try podcast.com or your web hosting. So anyway, I went to podcast.com. It was easy setup. I typed my name in, stuff like that, gave all the information I could. It sets automatically up to iTunes. So if you have an iTunes stuff, you can log your stuff in, and automatically will go to iTunes or Google Play. So if you have the same RSS feed, it will go right back over. And I stayed on there for about 2 days, and I was sitting around, and then I gave TuneIn all the new information. I said, hey man, I have the feed's been validated. It's showing on feed validation. Everything looks good. So I ended up going over to TuneIn. TuneIn gets back to me within 3 to 4 days. It would get close to, I think, a Thanksgiving Day. So I just got out of work that night, and TuneIn sent me the email, and I'm so grateful for getting it. Hey, Ali, Michelle over at TuneIn. Your feed, your podcast has been accepted. We have all your stuff. Look for it within 24 hours. I was ecstatic. It's there. It's here. I can finally listen to it on my Amazon Echo, or I can listen to it on the Google Home or whatever you may have, or a platform. So it's there. It's now on our official damn thing. And I'm like, holy shit, I did it. I was all excited and shit. And then I really thought about it. I was like, you know what? I was like, let me fuck around with podcast.com a little bit. And I had some issues with podcast.com. I had to write some code out and stuff like that. And, write your synopsis and stuff like that. Pain in the ass. But everything, like I said, everything loads fine. If you guys want to use it, you guys can. I just started getting a little bit nervous because it felt kind of sketchy. Okay, that's just me, my mindset. I'm like, I've already been to this shit before. If it's too good to be true and somebody's getting free shit, your free stuff, chances are it's too good to be true. So I was like, let me jump out of this. And I ended up looking around YouTube for a couple hours, and I said, okay, what are the podcasts that I listen to? What are their services they're going to? And most are going to Libsyn Podcast. Libsyn became the biggest one. And now I know why. I tried Speaker out for a day to see what Speaker was like. The problem with Speaker, it's a bit more expensive. And Libsyn, I did hardcore research on it and listened to this one guy's podcast, or his video thing, and I'll just put a link down to his video down in below so you guys can watch on how to set Libsyn up and stuff like that, and what he recommended. And it was really fucking good. I was just like, alright, so when you're paying for a service such as Libsyn, you are getting a lot more features, such as Speaker. And Speaker will get you to iHeartRadio. It will get you to a better RSS. You'll have support. You'll have an actual support team, so you can send messages like, "What the fuck? Why is this working?" And they'll get back to you immediately and say, "Hey, try this, fix this. Your players sound better. Your compression sounds better." It's just the way shit is. Libsyn, damn thing. And it's like, you know what? Let me try out the service. So I looked into Libsyn more, and I'll put a link down into the description to the things I found. So from YouTube. So when I looked through Libsyn, I said, all right, most Nerdist, Bill Burr, all these people are they're on YouTube. They're on this one. They're on that one. This is what they're using. I said, okay, that makes sense. Now, with podcast.com, like I said, completely free, and if you wanted to go to all these different platforms, such as YouTube, you'd have to do it all on your own. Edit the audio, post it, stuff like that. Company like Libsyn and Speaker, they have a built-in software, so you can just click the destination, and it will automatically, once you upload an episode, it will go to all your destinations, such as iHeartRadio, TuneIn, etc. If you're with that platform, Google Play. Pricing, just to hold on to your files, is not that bad. What you're doing is you're paying for them to distribute your stuff and hang on to it and archive it for you. Libsyn, it looks like, and I'm on their website now, they do offer a plan for about $5 a month. Now, I was like, oh shit, some of my podcasts are quite big. I need to be careful of this. And let me go through those. So $5 a month, you'll get 50 megabytes of storage. This episode's going to be a lot longer. An RSS feed, HTML5 media player, on Publish it says, podcast page, networking app, so you'll get a network app, and a directory listing, and then if you want basic statistics, so if you're trying to get sponsors and stuff like that, it's an extra $2 a month, so that's about $7 a month. I'm retarded. But I'm going with the $15 a month, 250 megabytes. And then I found a free code to type in, which I'll see if I can find one for you guys, if I can even make one, and I'll put it down below so y'all can get a free month of Libsyn, or I'll ask them to give me a code if they can, which would be wonderful. It's $75 a month, and that's the biggest plan. They have a $40 plan, which is 80 megabytes. They have a $20 plan, which is 400 megabytes. The $15 plan is 250, which is fine for me because I'm only going to be doing 4 episodes a month. So I ended up using the $75 plan. I'm still on a free subscription, and my first payment will be on the January 1st in the new year. But the good thing about it is, I'm getting a lot. And the good thing is when you upload, you hit your 250 or whatever your cap is for the month, it resets for the next month, and all your archive stays at Libsyn. No one's gonna punch you in the face for either re-editing your audio or whatever. Now, if you delete an audio, if you're just like, hey, I want to delete some of this archive and not use it again, and when you want to re-upload it, yeah, it's going to come back at you, and you have to it's going to take more space up, and then it has to recount the next. It re-rolls over and goes to the next month, and it resets the your megabytes for the month. Pardon me. Now, what I like about Libsyn is it was very, very simple to do. I had some issues. I wasn't getting a valid RSS feed, so I had to go, shit, what's going on? So Libsyn got back to me immediately and was like, hey, here's the issue that we're seeing. Some of your files are MP4s, and I forgot. I was like, shit, man. That was because Squarespace wasn't able to hold on to them. They weren't able to upload them because they were too big. I had about 192 kilobytes, for some of my episodes, and I was compressing them down to an MP4, so it would be smaller megabyte-wise. Like this episode's probably going to be about 80 megabytes, and I'm probably compressing it a little bit more. So anyway, I get on Libsyn, I start uploading all my files, some of them looked all good, and then I got told those, like, keep some of your files, some of them are MP3, but you might want to edit them down to take out the MP4, convert them to MP3. I was a psychopath. I put them to a higher rate conversion rate, so they would sound better. I filled up half my damn quota, so I filled up 150 megabytes in a matter of no time. That's 23 episodes of podcasting, like literally, boom. And they're like, whoa. And it's like, you can't upload anymore. You need to recompress or So I was like, shit. So when you're doing that, when you're uploading to Libsyn or another thing, make sure to keep your cap low. So if you have it, just compress it down to the standard. I'm using 192 kbs, and that should help you. Definitely either save on storage for the month, depending on how many podcasts you're doing. Also, when you update an episode, now when I converted all my stuff over to Libsyn, unfortunately, I lost the air date. So I literally, on Squarespace, it has the date I've uploaded them. So when you upload them to a newer site, it's going to say, unless you want to bring the RSS feed over, and boom, there you go, you should be good. But you want to make sure you're MP3. So not MP4, because I know Apple likes to do MP4. Definitely go over to MP3. If you're going to go to any of these sites, MP3 only, because TuneIn and iHeart and a lot of those, they like MP3 only. They've all said to me, MP3 only, please. So that's a step, that's a tip. Make sure all your media files, if you're doing a podcast, is going to be MP3, not MP4, whatever, stuff like that. So anyway, when that was all said and done, it took me a while. Now, I had to convert them all back and readjust everything and then read my order. So once I uploaded them all and I had to readjust, now I had to get iTunes to look proper, and it was all my episodes were everywhere. Now Libsyn really adjusts. It has everything categorized for you, your artwork, stuff like that. Make sure when you guys upload your artwork, it's going to be 1400 by 1400. And I did that by taking our logo, and I ended up shrinking it under a compression thing, and it did it for us, and that's now good to go too. Your RSS feed may not show valid. Don't worry about it. I wrote them, and they're like, it's not going to show valid, but your stuff is valid. It's good. It's good. It's on its own server. Good. You're good to go. So don't fret about that. But like I said, if you're going to use podcast.com to try this stuff for free, and you'll have your archive there, you can. Just know if you need any help or you feel like something's not right, it is what it is. You're getting something for free. Obviously, someone's using some of your stuff. Not knocking podcast.com. Just saying that's what I didn't feel comfortable. I'm just saying I didn't feel comfortable. But I was like, wait, what? How half of these podcasts on here? Half of these podcasts are on bigger platforms. I had come to find out, I don't know how they got them, but they're on there, and it is what it is. And mine's not on there anymore, but I can literally put it up because I'm logged in with their server. But my podcast is no longer on there. It may be, who knows. But Libsyn's where I'm going to go because what I said before is better community, better customer support, stuff like that. And I know that I have a better platform. My episodes will always be there no matter what. The good thing, guys, about Libsyn is there's no commitment to contract. There's no contract. You can cancel anytime. However, if you want to keep your stuff there. So what it says is no contract plans that are simple to change. So I had the $75 plan, so I could upload all my stuff. I am now down to the $15 plan starting on January 1st, and I'm going to be getting 250 megabytes. Okay. That's not bad. That's I can do 4 episodes like that, no problem. 30-minute long, I'm not capped on how many minutes it can be. I'm just capped on how much megabytes I can use per episode, month, what have you. If I want to add more, I just pay a little extra, and it resets. Boom, bada bing, bada boom. Or my archive is still there. Now, having said that, now that I go to their destination page, and I can click YouTube, stuff like that. Okay, here's the thing about YouTube. I have the video and audio version. I do the video one on YouTube. The audio I do not have, but now the audio is up there also for some, so like to, just go on a web page and listen to audio only, and they're on like another web page. I said, fuck it, if I'm going to do that, I'm going to put the destination there. Now, for those who want to do both, I recommend probably doing a video and audio. Some people are not comfortable doing video. When you do that, make sure that you have audio in your track that is legal, that you own, or you have the rights to use. Now, if y'all listen to my probably episode 4, I had a theme made by Michael Pernesco, who designed my logo, and is my multimedia guy, and I'm a web guy, and all that kind of stuff. He designed it through GarageBand. Perfectly legal. We own. He found the file. It was open source file, and we did some adjustments and what I was looking for and stuff like that. We spoke about it, and that became our theme for a little while, for a couple episodes, and I liked it. I liked it a lot. But I said to myself, I said, you know what? Let me make my own theme with GarageBand. I started to use my phone. I was going through some looping and tracks and audio stuff, and I made the new audio track that you guys usually hear when the podcast starts. Anyway, so I uploaded to YouTube. All of a sudden, I get copyright claims, and I've been doing this for the past week or so. This week's been really long for me. All of a sudden, I get copyright claims. Hey, Open Mind Industries, you guys have been flagged for copyright from YouTube. It's an automatic thing that pops up on YouTube. YouTube states that you're using a copyrighted file. Okay, you're not in trouble, but you can either dispute this, or otherwise that company is going to run an ad and make monetizations on your YouTube video. Okay, so what I had to do is I clicked on it. I was like, and it had some options. So it's like, hey, it said, hey, I own this, blah 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 blah. Which I clicked. I'm like, hey, I own this. This was custom made, blah blah blah. And then you can write in what you need to write in, and you tell them like, hey, this is what's going on, and how I got the file, like that. I think I had to do like 11 of those because I had to upload the podcast twice due to compression issues, and now it's all been organized and reorganized. The newer episodes are fine. I have the master file to the audio because I made it myself. It had my voice on it. So that all got cleared up. That company said. They dropped the case against me with the 11 files. They were like, they dropped it. YouTube sent me a thing, and they're like, they agreed to drop it. You own that, so you have proof that you owned it. And I just wrote like, hey, I own it. I don't believe you own it. Plus, I looked the name up with the person who said they owned it, and I couldn't find anything solid to say they owned it. So if they did, I would have completely took the music out and put my new stuff in because I knew I owned it. They just claimed, I guess, they owned the beat or something, and something wasn't kosher, but. Thanks to them, I wrote a nice email saying, hey, I don't need any disrespect. If it is yours, I'll take it down. But come to find out it wasn't, and they decided to drop their claim, and we're all good now. So thank you to them for helping me out with that, because I'm glad that they were polite and I was polite. Anyway, so again, if you're going to do a podcast or anything audio, so if you guys are out in public and recording, I don't know, especially if you're in a live band, make sure you're either speaking over some of the audio, because if you're keeping a little cap of like a sound audio file, you might get flagged on YouTube, which I did. And I got flagged for the I Know Now While You Cry episode 18, where I was at Terminator 2 3D. Pardon me. Episode 18, I was literally walking through the Terminator cube and doing a live video podcast saying goodbye to T2 3D for Universal Orlando for some Terminator fans and myself, because I worked there for quite a bit. And apparently I kept my mouth shut for about, I want to say, a good 30 seconds, 30 to about a good minute, I want to say. Yeah, they said it was about a good minute on YouTube. The algorithm picked it out immediately. It was like, MGA recording says blah blah blah, they're filing it. I ended up losing that one. I'm not going to dispute it. I can dispute it, and like I wrote them and said, hey, wait, this is public, this is a public audio file. I'm literally walking through a queue, and they couldn't get the rest of it because I was talking over the other audio. So it's like, just be warned. I ended up losing that one. I can still fight it, but I'm like, I'm not gonna fight it. I'm like, whatever, because they can now claim that they're gonna put like ads in my video just to do it on YouTube. So if you're doing a podcast, make sure either you have the rights to use the audio by the owner, or you're just doing it respectfully. If you do hear audio in it, try to get the name of it. Try to get and put that underneath your description of like, hey. If you hear the song in the background, it's from so and so, and just kind of give them credit. Like you have to give attributions to that person, and just say, hey, in case you guys hear that music, that is this song, blah blah blah, and it just keeps people off your back, and it's nicer for everybody. Everybody gets a piece of the pie. That, gets their name out there, and you get your name out there, and your files out there. So just be very polite about that. But I wasn't. I even wrote them. I was like, hey, and I clicked. I'm not making any money off your song at all because I'm not. It's a public file because it's in a public building, which it was. It's a public, and the theme park was open, so anybody could take their phone and start talking, and an audio track can be there. You're not breaking any copyright laws. I just kind of kept my mouth shut for about, I want to say like I said, a minute, and I picked the song up for about a good, a minute. I ended up chopping that out, but it's back in the podcast. Due to whatever, I'm not really going to worry about it. They're not yelling at me. I'm not yelling at them, but they did deny my claim, and they just said they're going to stick an ad on my video. So I'm like, whatever. If you want a piece of the pie, go ahead and grab it. So I'm not going to argue with them. But anyway, just be careful when you do that, when you start podcasting. Also, you guys don't need great equipment. You really don't need great equipment. Like I said, I'm recording the audio version on this on a little voice recorder with a lapel mic, and then the GoPro, I have a lapel mic also to make it sound a little bit better. But that's pretty much about it. It's like when you're getting into this, definitely try it on either podcast.com. Podcast.com, like I said, guys, is a legit site. I was just looking for more of a platform for you to tune in, etc. iHeartRadio, which I apply for now, Spotify. If you go to podcast.com, you can use it, and you're welcome to place all your files there, and it will hang on to it for you, and it will be your podcasting platform. However, you probably might not have all the bells and whistles that you're looking for if you're trying to expand your podcast, whether it be anything such as gaming, what have you, etc. Lipson, like I said, will be our new podcasting host for years to come, hopefully. Oh, excuse me, I burped. Just because of all the features it does offer. So you're paying that $15 a month, that $5 a month for what plan you pick. You're getting a lot that comes with it. So it's not like, hey, I'm getting ripped off for, putting my podcast up on this site. I feel like I'm getting a lot for the price. I'm getting my everything put up on my Facebook page, everything put up on my Twitter, everything, so it's like, if I post once and it goes everywhere. My syndication goes everywhere, which I feel that is freaking awesome. It's amazing. I mean, I guess you're paying for goods and services, so definitely look into Libsyn. Speaker, like I said, would be fine. I remember I watched the guy's video last week, and he was like, oh yeah, you get a free version. So you do get a free version on Speaker. Just know, I guess you can only do like how many minutes per episode, so just look at that carefully. I did try Speaker on a different website. I canceled that after an hour because I was like, I tried to upload my stuff on SoundCloud, which Libsyn, you can do SoundCloud also. Just know that they have a cap. Also, I tried uploading half my catalog, and they're like, nope, you gotta pay for our service too. So I said, fuck it. 'Cause I don't need it everywhere, but my goal is to keep it as free as possible so you guys can enjoy and give you guys the best ideas. But definitely, if we're going to get into it, definitely Audacity. Use that for your editing software if you're on a Windows PC. If you are on a MacBook Pro, because you're awesome like that and you can afford that, use GarageBand and do some editing. But like I said, if you're going to make a theme, make sure it's open source, so you're openly allowed to use it and you're able to, do it, or make it in GarageBand. And if you're, like I said, make sure it's legal to use. And if you are using somebody's file, ask them politely, like, hey, I'd like to use your file. Can I use your file for my theme? Blah, blah, blah. Most of the times they'll say, yeah. I'd like to get my name out there. Sure, yeah, use it. I just asked you put a link down in the description. I'm using this file from you, and should keep it all good. Like I said, I never had a problem doing it on YouTube until I put the audio up, and like I said, that one company hit me up and it was like, hey, you have 11 episodes to have our audio. And I was like, wait. I was like, we built it in this software and it's an open file and yada yada yada. So luckily, like I said, they were very polite. I was very polite to them. And the Terminator 2 one, like I said, I shut my mouth for about a minute, and an audio track in the queue got picked up and was like, hey, it's too clean. You're not talking over it or anything. So we have a feeling that you're using it for your benefit, and I wasn't. So just make sure if you're doing a podcast, just make sure you do your legal work and copyright your stuff. Audacity allows you to do metadata, which you're allowed to, your ID3 tags. If you have ID3 tags through iTunes, definitely can get all your stuff, who it's from, blah blah blah. Just make sure you're giving everybody the right attributions if you're using the files correctly. But yeah, you don't need amazing software to do this stuff. It's really, really fun to do an episode. Sometimes I'm like, what am I going to speak about this week? But this week is podcasting, because I've had such a headache, man. I had to reorganize the files on Libsyn, and I had to re-upload. So when you upload, like I said, if you upload the files, make sure it's boom to boom to boom to boom. So it's like date and time, and so it's like making sure, so you get, once you upload it there, it puts it in a correct order for your podcast. So if it's on Google Play, it looks proper. So it can play the latest episode. If it's on iTunes, it plays the latest episode on your phone, or whatever mobile device you're using, or podcatcher, or whatever you're using. So it looks correct for the people that are listening. So it's so they don't have to go searching for it. They want to hey, I want to listen to your catalog. There it is. Be polite to your listeners and deal with it. Listen into it. But if this helps you guys do that, I hope it does. And definitely make sure it's MP3 only. A lot of Libsyn said that to me, and iTunes asked that properly also, or TuneIn asked that. They're like, hey, make sure it's MP3. We really don't use MP4As, because that's our monitor test. Still waiting on what the hell am I? iHeartRadio. Oh, excuse me. Oh, pardon me, I was just talking so fast. iHeartRadio, it takes a little while. I'm still waiting for the clearance on that. Libsyn does have destination for Spotify. However, I read through the contract last night, and they said you have to click yes, I agree, or I don't agree. If you feel there's any audio in that file that you don't own, you could be in deep shit. So they're just warning you that you might have legal repercussions. I need to read through that again just to make sure. I don't agree to anything I don't agree to. Yeah, just make sure you're good to go and stuff like that. But like I said, Libsyn seems like I'm going to be going with them more. My whole catalog is there, and I think you guys should really give them a shot. If not, I did find some codes on, if you type in Libsyn coupon or something like that, and usually there was actually like one people actually have. I guess they're trying to get their name out there, and I borrowed somebody. I checked it, and it was like, yeah, this code is valid. So I clicked it and put it in, and sure enough, I had a promotional code for a month. So it's been good to try it out. I feel like Libsyn's for me. If you may have another one like SoundCloud or whatever, just look at what sees fit best for you. But definitely, like I said, Squarespace wasn't bad. If you want to start from there, or GoDaddy or WordPress or whatever you want to do. Also, Libsyn does offer WordPress. So if you guys are using WordPress, definitely use it. I mean, I can see now why everybody's using Libsyn. It seems very intuitive, very easy. The support, the contact, everybody is just good over there. And the one thing they did help me out with was getting on iHeartRadio. And I was like, hey, it's not allowed me on iHeart for a while, but I've already been in syndication since April. I have proof of this. If you need anything, let me know. And luckily, they got back to me within a day, and they said, hey, we'll do that for you because we believe you were. They looked at my website, and they're like, yeah, you were. You actually have like legit postings from X site, from this time and date. So definitely, like I said, they have good support, good team. And if you're trying to do it for free, definitely check out podcast.com. Definitely check them out, and I'll put links down in the description so you guys can start podcasting and having fun and enjoying it. Looking forward to hearing some of your podcasts. If you guys start them, let me know. And I believe that's it for the week. I'm hoping this helped you guys. If it did, put a like, do this on YouTube, or subscribe, do what you gotta do. If you want to support the podcast and the company and all my work that I be doing, with the R&D and stuff like that we're doing, feel free. We're on Patreon. Our links are going to be in the description. It's going to be on our website. Check out openmindindustries.com for all your open mind needs. And I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you so much, and keep an open mind. Have a good one. Have a great week. See ya.